Here for the faith, family, and forgiveness. And tonight we will be back in looking at anger. Okay. Um, but to start off tonight, we'll be looking at uh, resolving anger toward God. Okay. So let's get into tonight's material. Okay. So resolving anger towards Yahweh or God can be a deeply personal and spiritual journey. Here are steps that individuals might find helpful in navigating these feelings. So, one is to acknowledge and understand our anger. Why are we angry? Why do we feel angry? Okay. So, first off, we have to acknowledge or understand. First, we have to be able to recognize that there is anger. Okay. And we have to be able to accept the the fact that we have feelings of anger towards God. Now, is that normal? A lot of people will probably say no, that we never should have a right to be angry at God. There will be others that will say yes, definitely. You know, there's going to be times that we will be angry or we could become angry. Okay. So So recognizing it and accepting it are the first two steps. Okay. We talked about our feelings. Okay. So then the next part of it is this is to express our feelings honestly. Okay. And we're aware, um, most of us are aware that that God is all knowing and omnipotent, and he knows what we're doing, while we're doing it, but we still feel like, I think at times, that we can hide things from him. What we're thinking, uh, the things that we say is that, well, God's pretty big. He's pretty busy. He may not be, and we may not say it out loud, but I think a lot of times we do take that approach. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to be honest with our feelings. And it's because, like I said, God already knows what we're thinking, what we're feeling. So we might as well, it's not that we're not being honest with God, we're not being honest with ourselves. Okay? And that is very important that that we that we're honest, with ourselves. Okay? So find a safe place for expression. Okay. Where can we find a safe place? Is there a safe place? Okay. So, one of the safest places is prayer. It's just talking to Him. Okay. And I know even in my life, I have Sorry, my volume cut out there. But anyway, in prayer, yeah. Um, and we don't need to make it or feel like that we have to say certain words. It's got to be so long. Uh, no, it's just of talking with him. You know, we should approach it as we're talking to our best friend. Okay? So, prayer is one way that we can express our feelings. Okay? Another way is journaling. Okay, and we discussed journaling quite a bit in this ministry, and it we really recommend it. I recommend it. Um, if you're, a lot of people are readers. Some people are writers. They write things all the time. So journaling is one way of expressing your feelings, because you can just kind of let go and write what you are actually feeling at the time. Okay. Another way to express uh, this issue is talking. Okay. And I don't mean just talking out loud and well, or just to anybody, but we need to be able, we all from time to time need a trusted spiritual mentor that we can turn to and talk to. And a lot of times it's not so much that we need them, but to answer anything, it's just to listen. Okay. And so, I would recommend that if you are one that you have a friend that reaches out to you from time to time, uh, just understand that a lot of times when we do reach out to others, it is just the fact of someone listening, not necessarily telling us what we should do, but just listening. Okay. All right. Number 3 is to seek understanding and perspective. Okay. So what are we talking about here? Seek understanding. Okay. Well, how can we seek understanding? Well, one thing we gotta be willing to engage. Okay. And we're talking about engaging in spiritual practices. Okay, it could be just studying scripture. What does the word, what you're going through, what you're experiencing, the feelings that you're having, how do they line up with scripture? Because that should be the only source, true source, that we should use for our issues and for things that we're going through. Okay? How does it line up with Scripture? Okay, so studying Scripture, again, seeking guidance. Okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with seeking guidance from someone to seek just to seek guidance. Okay, the thing that we have to be careful about is this, is that a lot of sometimes, not a lot of times, but sometimes the one that we open up to, and this is sad to say, but they may be the one that next week is stabbing you in the back. And that is the main reason why most people are unwilling to open up to others. It's because they're afraid of what might happen. Okay? So, seeking guidance, seeking reassurance is not an issue. But we do need to be careful on who we choose to do those things with. Okay? Next, reflect on your relationship with God. Okay? This is not about, it's not about your mother or your father's relationship. It's not about your husband or your wife relationship, your kids' relationship. It all is about your relationship, okay, with God. So, you know, so reflect on, and what things should we reflect on? Well, here are some of the things. Our past experiences, okay? Maybe we've been through something similar in the past, okay? How did we get through that? To reflect back and to think back, how did we get through it? How did we feel before we got through the situation? How did we feel after we got through that situation? Okay? So reflect back on your past experiences, your relationship with God, okay? And consider what aspects of your faith or beliefs are causing the anger, and if there are ways to reconcile or reinterpret them. So, number 5 is to practice forgiveness and acceptance. Okay? Explore the idea of forgiveness both towards oneself and towards God. Okay? Now I'm going to back up to the oneself for just a second. Okay? Throughout the years that the last 12 years I've been doing this ministry, I cannot tell you how many times that I've had people that's been in class that has made this statement. I don't have an issue with forgiving. I can forgive. Okay? I can forgive people that hurt me, that say things about me, that does things towards me, so forth and so on. But the one person that I have the most issue with forgiving is myself. And we need to be able to forgive ourselves. Forgive ourselves for the thoughts that we've had, the feelings that we've had, how we reacted to certain situations. Because here's the thing about anger, and we've talked about it in this study already, but God knows that we're going to get angry because see, is it? I think it's Psalms chapter 4. I think verse 3. But it says that in our anger, do not sin. Okay? So that tells us what? God knows that we're going to get angry about things. There's going to be things that happen that we're going to get angry about. Okay? It's part of life. Okay? But what he tells us is it's okay to be angry, but don't sin. Okay? And not being willing to forgive yourself is a sin. Okay? Because in Matthew, scripture tells us that Jesus says that if you do not forgive if you do not forgive, yes, I know it says if you do not forgive others, okay, but if you do not forgive, then his Father in heaven will not forgive you. Okay? And so I believe that also he's also talking about us, that if we're not willing to forgive ourselves, then how can we expect God to forgive us? Okay? Do you know more than God? Do you hold more power than God? No. But that's what we're doing. We're saying that we know better when we do that, when we don't forgive ourselves. We're saying that we know better than he does. Okay? So, number 6, engage in spiritual practices. Okay? Attending religious services. Okay? Um, engaging in acts of kindness and service. Okay? Because what did Jesus tell us about why he came? He came to serve, not to be served. Okay? Again, seek guidance and support. Uh, seek guidance from spiritual mentors. It could be a clergyman, a pastor, or could be a therapist. Okay. And number 8, give yourself time. Okay. No, time does not heal all wounds. Okay. Does time help us learn to deal with things? Yes, most definitely it will. But it doesn't heal all wounds. Okay. Time will not heal wounds. God heals wounds. Hard work. Okay. Work. We have to put forth effort. Okay. So give yourself some time. Be patient with yourself. Allow yourself the space to process your feelings and to discuss your feelings with and receive guidance from your support. And these can be very invaluable to you. Okay? Okay, next, resolving past anger involves a process of reflection, acceptance, and healing. Here are some steps to help resolve past anger. Okay, and again, why do we need to why address this? Well, here's the issue: is that something happens to us, we get in a situation, or somebody says something, hurts our feelings. What do? We start building a wall up of not wanting to be hurt, not wanting to go through that again, things of that nature. Okay. So if we don't address what happened, eventually what happens is you get one layer of brick and then another layer of brick and then another layer of brick and another layer of brick. And before you know, you got this huge wall in front of you. Okay. And each one of those are connected. And what it does, it makes every situation even worse because we've not dealt with past anger. Okay? That is the reason why this is something that is very important, especially nowadays in this day and time that we're living in. All right. For the arrows of the Almighty are in me. My spirit drinks in their poison. God's terrors are arrayed against me. Job chapter 6, verse 4. Okay. Oh, now let's move on to this acknowledgement and acceptance. First and foremost, again, we have to recognize and acknowledge that there is anger, that there are things that are causing anger. There's things from our past that have caused and are still causing us to be angry. Okay. Next, understand the root cause. Okay, so how can we understand the root cause? Well, again, we go back and we reflect. Okay, reflect on the events or situations that have taken place in the past that has triggered your anger. Okay, then we need to explore the underlying reasons behind our emotions. Okay, so was it an injustice that's been done? Have we been hurt? Have we been betrayed? Or are there other factors? Okay, express your feelings. Okay, we need to express them in a healthy way. Okay, again, in your in your anger, do not sin. Okay, in your anger, address them in a healthy way. So, so in a healthy way, if we do it in a healthy way, then expressing our anger is not bad. We're angry. Okay, somebody done something, said something that made us angry. Practice forgiveness. Okay, again, this is something that people A lot of people have real issues with forgiveness. Okay? Being able to forgive. Consider forgiveness as a way to release yourself from the burden of anger. Okay? Anger in itself is not the issue. It is the burden that we carry around with us from the anger. Number 5, release resentment and bitterness. Okay? And you know, without forgiveness, you're not going to be able to release. Okay? But holding on to anger often leads to resentment and to bitterness. Okay? And the scripture tells us, do not allow a bitter root to grow in your life. Okay? Number 6, learn from the experience. Well, again, how do we learn? We reflect, we look for opportunities for personal growth and resilience. Okay? And understanding. Number 7, set boundaries. Okay? If the source of your anger involves ongoing relationships or situations, consider setting healthy boundaries to protect yourself from further harm or recurring triggers. Okay? And this is a good point to take a short little break from the material and to make an announcement. Okay? Starting May the 2nd on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. I'll be starting building better boundaries. How to set boundaries. Why do we set boundaries? Why do we need boundaries? Okay. It will start at 7, go for 30 minutes, and this will be a weekly series. May the 2nd at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Number 8, seek closure and resolution. This is a very important step. A lot of people may go through all these other steps, but they do not seek closure. Okay? And we need to. We need to close that chapter so we can move on to better things. Okay? So, this might involve a conversation, seeking an apology, or closure in other forms that allow you to move forward. Okay? So, what are we talking about? We're talking about having a confrontation. Okay? And anytime we hear the word confrontation, the first thing we think about, probably most people, is this is something that is negative. It's not a good thing. Well, that's not true. Okay? If we go into confrontations, if we do confrontations God's way, because He gives us biblical instructions on how to do confrontations, then it can become a very positive tool in our life. Number 9, practice self care. Okay? Be willing to engage in self care activities. This could include mindfulness, exercise, spending time in nature, or seeking professional support. Okay, i.e., clergyman, pastor, therapist. Okay. And number 10, again, give yourself time. You're not going to go through, and most of the time, you're not going to go through an angering situation and go through all these steps immediately. Okay. Now, there may be some things that you may at first get a little bit angry, and you may move through some of these steps very quickly, but for the most part, it's going to take some time. Okay. So be patient with yourself. Healing from past anger is a process that takes time. Okay. You have to be dedicated to work through it. All right. Feeling anger and grappling with forgiveness in situations where trust has been shattered can be incredibly challenging. Boy, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Okay. So, how can we address this type of situation? Well, it's important to acknowledge the complexity of such emotions and the difficulty of the situation. Here are some things, here are some considerations for you. Okay. So, number one is validating your emotions. Okay. It's natural to feel angry and betrayed when someone you trusted deeply has caused harm without showing remorse. Okay. Number two, understanding forgiveness. Okay. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciling with the person or forgetting what happened. Okay. I wish that God would allow us to have holy amnesia. Okay. But He doesn't. It doesn't happen. Okay. We don't forget. Now, we may not remember as often, or we may not remember. And I know you think, okay, that's forgetting. Yeah, in a sense it is, I guess. But it's just that when you really and truly have gone through the forgiveness process with a situation, that situation just doesn't come up as much anymore. Okay. But, and just because you forgive somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to reconcile that relationship. Okay. Because there's even biblical standards that if we follow them, we won't be in a relationship with certain type of people. Okay. Number three, setting boundaries. Here we go again. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries. Building better boundaries. May the 2nd, 7 p.m. Thursday night. Okay. So setting boundaries to protect yourself from further harm is crucial for your well-being. It is not rude um, for you to have boundaries. Okay. What we have to understand is there's boundaries in life every day, every day. Okay. There's boundaries in marriages. There's boundaries in driving a vehicle. There's boundaries in just everything. Everything that we do, there are some boundaries, or there should be some boundaries. Okay? So, setting boundaries in our personal life, if boundaries are good enough for us to have, and if there's a reason to have those boundaries in other areas, then why would it not be good to have them in our personal life? Number four, separating forgiveness from reconciliation. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions about forgiveness is that we automatically are to be reconciled. No, that's not true. Forgiveness is a personal choice. Okay? Reconciliation, it involves restoring a relationship. You can forgive someone without reconciling or reestablishing trust with them. Okay? Plain and simple. Number five, processing anger and betrayal. Ooh, yeah, this is a hard one, isn't it? Sometimes. Yeah, it sure is. Okay. Consider seeking support again about the anger or the complex emotions of the anger. Okay. The betrayal that you've been through, and work towards forgiveness. Process. It's a process. Focus on self healing. Redirect your energy toward your own healing. Okay? And your growth to be able to grow. Okay? As we process and we go through one angering situation, it will help us to grow in other areas. Acceptance and moving forward. Accept that some people may never offer the apology or restitution you seek. Okay? Is it good to hear somebody to tell you that they're sorry for what they said or what they done? Yes, absolutely. Does it make a difference? Yeah, to a certain extent. But what we have to understand is this is that they do not have to offer an apology before we can forgive. Because what we have to understand is this: yes, we offer forgiveness to them. Okay. Uh, we may actually verbally express it towards them. We don't have to. You don't necessarily have to, but we express it towards God. We express it toward ourselves. And what you will find out is this: you thought by withholding forgiveness that you put this person in a prison. Okay, but what you will find out is this: that once you truly forgive, is that you're the prisoner that's going to be set free because you're no longer in bondage to that person or to that situation. Number eight. Okay, yeah. Recognize that your peace and emotional well being don't necessarily depend on their actions or acknowledgement. Yeah. No, they don't have to acknowledge or have to change their actions. Okay. Hopefully they will, but they don't have to. Okay. Number eight, personal growth and lessons. Reflect on the lessons that you can learn from this situation, or lessons that you have learned in the past. Okay. Um, Number nine is allow yourself some time. Again, allow some time. It's not going to be immediate. Okay. Healing from betrayal takes time. Okay. Be patient with yourself and allow yourself the grace to heal gradually without rushing the process of forgiveness and reconciliation. Okay. Yeah. Be patient with yourself because you will heal gradually. Okay. Can you heal instantaneously? Yes, but most likely it won't happen that way. Okay. Remember, forgiveness is a personal journey. It's okay if it doesn't happen immediately or in the way that society expects. Your emotional well-being and healing are the priorities as you navigate through these challenging emotions. Okay? So, forgiveness and reconciliation are related but distinct concepts. Okay? We're going to stop right here for tonight because I do not want to get into this until next week. Okay? So, a couple quick announcements down at the bottom of your screen on where it's scrolling, where it says vscministry.com. That is our website. You can go to our website. You can download this material, okay? Or you can download the material for Building Better Boundaries coming up on May the 2nd. And with that, we're going to close for tonight. God bless. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next.